It's my first time here, and I just really started listening to you this last summer when I left my husband, because before that, I knew what little bit that I knew about law of attraction. I knew that my kind of not happiness in the marriage was my allowing, and I had to kind of take credit for that. And ever since then, I've had the time and space to get into law of attraction, and everything has turned around. I was sick, I was hurt, I was in pain, I felt out of control, or lack of control, and now I know I have everything again. And I'm sitting here in an environment that I feel so comfortable in. And I believe in abundance, I believe in health, I believe in change, and really, again, I found all that comfort. When I started listening to you, I have explained it to my friends, like listening to my best friends, or hanging out with my best friends. It's like like-minded people, and it's such a relief.
You're finding resonance with your true knowing. Yes.
Because the best and the happiest I've ever been in my life, people want to be around me, but then once they are, then they want to start like cutting me back down, because they're like, oh, that can't be that real, or they want it. And I guess I have allowed that in the past, and I am, this last year, getting all healthy. I've spent a lot of time by myself. I've been able to spend a lot of time on myself, and now I went through yoga instructor training, so I'm a certified yoga instructor, and I'm going to have my own studio and things like that, and I feel so good about it. But in that, I spent a lot of time by myself because I didn't want all the other people and their resistance to basically being able to be happy and healthy and making the true changes in your life that you have to make. Really,
We want to comment on something that you are projecting here, because it's really an important thing. Most people are looking for love in all the wrong places, or company in all the wrong places, or alignment in all the wrong places, or well-being in all the wrong places, because they're wanting the humans around them to reflect things back to them that cause them to feel good. But it's a sort of conditional approach to life that you have very little control over. And so that's why sometimes when you're looking for it in a place that isn't stable, you find instability rather than stability. Where when you do what we call get out ahead of it, where you look for your connection first and find it, then it's fun to be around others. Because when you get into what we've been calling the receiving mode, what you are in the receiving mode of is alignment and clarity, but you're also in the replenishing mode. In other words, you can focus on others and flow to them without losing your energy, because you are constantly replenishing it through your connection. Where if you're not replenishing and you're dealing with others who are wanting something or needing something, then what happens is you get depleted. That's why this conversation follows so nicely on the heels of the conversation that was just before, is because if you are in this place where you are wanting to help people who are in need all of the time, and you are not on a really regular basis returning to your replenishing mode, then in time you get burned out and you begin to experience the repercussions of your own personal depletion. And that's what you figured out wholly on your own, really.
I did, and
Yes.
It was finding the comfort in your words. The words in your tapes that I listened to is really how I felt, but I was so disconnected by it from life, and realizing that I had just been living by whatever was coming my way. I mean, we're just so preoccupied, and then we're dealing with the next situation through work and relationships. And then once you realize, if you turn back into yourself and your own health, then all of a sudden you can believe.
Most people are offering most of their vibration, and this broadcast, which is what you're thinking, matters a lot, because what you broadcast sets your tone. It's your set point for your own point of attraction. So what you broadcast is only what can come back to you. And so most people are broadcasting or offering that vibration, or are thinking about what they are observing, which is a lot of different vibrations and a lot of different subjects, where if you take the time to get into that replenished mode, then from that replenished mode, what you broadcast is more of that. So what do you want to talk about?
Really, it was to say how cool it is that you are doing what you're doing, you're able to do, and people like me have a way to connect with your own power and my own power, my own views, my own direction in life.
That's the whole point of it,
People are
isn't it?
asking me too, like all the time. It's like, Brenda, what's this big difference? What's just changed? Oh my God, you're just like glowing. It comes from taking responsibility from your own health, though, because I've never had a weight issue.
Let's say it a little bit differently. The word responsibility is not very well received, but so let's call it for caring about the way you feel. For caring about the way you feel. And so you could carry it to say, taking responsibility for my own emotions and being willing to do what it takes to feel good. Because once you care about how you feel, then it isn't about what you do, it's about what you are doing vibrationally that then inspires the behavior. It was a vibrational alignment that happened before the ideas began to flow and the energy began to flow otherwise. It wasn't an action that produced the alignment, it was the desire to feel good that accomplished the alignment that then produced the ideas that have led to, yes. And so you can call that responsibility, or you can call it, I finally gave in to my selfish nature and desire to feel good. I finally decided to be selfish enough to care about how I feel and to do something about it.
Because again, you can never get all of those things in life, love, happiness, security, all those things, until you foster them yourself. And I try to have those conversations with other people, and it's really hard for people to understand. And that's why I listen to you. I still listen. I just listen to at least one or two like a day, little segments. And it's like I get my fix because someone understands me.
Everything that everyone wants, no matter what it is, whether it's a physical change or a relationship or a pile of money or a change in a circumstance or an event, everything that everyone wants, no matter what it is because they believe they will feel better when they have that. And if you could just flip that a little bit and understand that once you find that feeling place that does feel good, then all of that comes. If I just had the house, if I just had a mate, if I just had more money, and we say, you've got to find a way to feel better anyway. And when you do, all the ideas will come. And it's not just the ideas that get you to those destinations that you think you want to be at. It's that alignment that takes you into the sweet spot where you have the clarity and you have the timing. That's what you're all jazzed up about. It's alignment which produces moment after moment after moment after moment after moment after moment, clicking, 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 clicking. That's what you're broadcasting. Yes? Really good.
Okay.
Really good.
Thank you.
Just one little piece.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too greedy here on time.
All right.
But-
This is a big discussion.
So when I'm with my patients that I'm working with, and I'm trying to be in that receptive mode to understand what's going on, and I know that that patient is me too and such, but am I communicating with my higher being or am I communicating with their higher being?
It depends. And how you know the difference is by how you feel. And it's a discussion that we had before. It's about getting out ahead of it. It's about being very sure of where you are before you walk into the conversation. Isn't it?
Yes.
So that's the part that you most want to practice, is making sure that you're in alignment with who you are. When you are interacting with them, first, each of them is in a different place. And where you are energetically or vibrationally varies a bit too. But whatever vibration is dominant will prevail. And what's typical is they're feeling guarded, and so is their caregiver. And so in that guardedness, there's not a whole lot of true inspiration that is flowing, you see. Here's an analogy. You might like it and you might not. And depending upon how much technology you play with will depend upon how well it sits with you. But Estra's noticed from the many moving parts of technology in her world that it's the best idea when they are introducing something new, even in the simple electronics that is here. It's not so simple. It's been coming for a while, but There is a mixer that's mixing the video and a mixer that's mixing the sound, and it's coming through the cables and being delivered to you and so forth. And every now and again, there's a desire to upgrade something. But they've learned not to introduce too many new things at the same time, because you want to know when there is a reaction, you want to know what the probable cause of that reaction is. And so you just don't get all new software and all new operating systems and all new hardware all at the same time, because then you don't know what the reason for whatever the thing you don't want is. You get side effects with your electronics too. And if you've introduced too many new things, then it's more difficult to isolate which it was that's not mixing with the other. In other words, what's not happy. There's software incompatibility somewhere here. And in medicine, there are so many things that are being introduced at the same time that you sort of lose track. And so if an individual is physically out of whack and you introduce something into the equation, it's not too difficult to note, if you're paying attention, if you are the individual or the observer of the individual, whether that helped or didn't. Is it the same, or is it a little better, or is it a little worse? Is it the same, or is it a little better, or is it a little worse? Well, if it's the same, or even a little better, then introduce a little more. Is it the same, or is it a little better, or is it a little worse? But when you introduce so many things simultaneously, you don't know what part of it was a little better and what part of it was a little worse. And that's what you're getting at with all of this. They're trying to counteract that. They've got something that's almost stable, but it's not quite stable, so they introduce something to it to stabilize it. And the thing that they've introduced to it to stabilize it then has an adverse reaction for someone else, but they don't know what part of it is. You see, where if you are responding from your tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you can feel right away. That's one of the things that we like so much about you all learning to meditate or practicing meditation. Because when you quiet your mind for 15 or 20 minutes a day, we wouldn't do it more than that, you allow your vibration to naturally rise. And when it rises, what happens is you're more sensitive to lower vibrations. So your guidance system works better. And so if you improve your sensitivity, you don't feel so good, but your sensitivity is guidance that lets you know whether you feel a little better or whether you feel a little worse. You see what we're getting at? Oh, it's so nice to know if you feel a little better or if you feel a little worse. It's so nice. And don't you want to lean toward what feels a little better? And don't you want to lean away from what feels a little worse? Don't you want to sort of slow the whole thing down just a little bit and let the individuals be more sensitive to what they're feeling? But if someone's so far out of whack that they have some disease that's going to take them out, and so does the rest of the village, then sometimes you don't have time to say, does it feel a little better or does it feel a little worse? Oh, never mind, he's dead. Sometimes you have to take more drastic action, don't you? And so, is he alive or is he dead, might be the question. Is he still alive? And then you can start fine-tuning. But pushing against the whole idea of improvement, of evolution, of expansion, of new ideas will never set well with the source within you. Did we help?
Perfect. Thank you.
This is a really good time for a segment of refreshment.